Hello, everyone, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Talent Show, where you will meet the people that power TTEC. I'm Rebecca, and I will be your host for today's episode. We are so glad you're here. I know I always say this, we have such a treat in store for you today. And today, again, is one of those days where you're going to meet somebody who's impacted my career and many, many careers around the TTEC world. I was recently reading an article about Daniel Goleman's new book, Optimal, about how emotionally intelligent leaders create an optimal state through learning and development so people can do their best work. So we've brought on a guest today to help us all do just that as she leads our global learning and development here at TTEC. And through her own journey, she's going to share about how each of us can do more either as individuals or as leaders to help all of us get into a more optimal state. So I know you're going to walk away feeling more empowered about how you can create a more fulfilling career. But first, let's meet you wherever you may be in the world. Once again, we are so glad you're here. Please feel free to drop in the chat where you're joining us from. We love to see where everybody is coming from. We love to hear your comments. So don't be shy. Let us know where you are joining us from today. It might be that you're joining us at lunchtime or right before you go to bed. But again, we're glad that you are here. So without further ado, let's talk about today's guest. Natalie Gooch is our Global Learning and Development Director. She's been with TTEC since 2008, and she has been a valuable part of our Women in Leadership employee resource group since its inception. I'm not sure where she finds the time to do all of this. She definitely reaches for amazing, but she also has helped to start up Toastmasters here at TTEC and our global book club. So if you look up meaningful connections in the dictionary, I have a feeling you're going to see Natalie's photo there as well. So we're glad that she's joining us because she lives what she talks about. So without further ado, let's meet Natalie Gooch.
Hey, Rebecca. Hey, thank you. I need to hire you as my PR person.
Hey, any day I will volunteer. I will be on the Nat Gooch committee.
Fabulous. Fabulous. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Again, I know we tried to do this a couple weeks ago. We had some technical difficulties, so nothing better than a take two. So thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, for sure.
Just want to drop some people in the chat. Aika is tuning in from the Philippines, and we hope everyone who's experiencing the typhoon there is safe, and we are thinking about you. Smearty has meaningful connections equals Natalie Gooch. So I think she's also looked you up in the dictionary too, Natalie.
Very sweet.
She's joining us from Canada. And Micaiah is watching us from Texas. And shout out to Kane, who's also joining us here today. So Natalie, so much of amazing things for us to cover today. So everyone walks away feeling more empowered in their career and that they can make a difference. And I think that you have such a phenomenal story to share with all of us. So let's get down to it. Could you start with sharing a little bit more about you, your journey here at TTEC, and then we'll get into it from there.
Absolutely, and thank you. So my name is Natalie Gooch. I reside in Eastern Tennessee, right outside of Knoxville. I have 3 grown children, and we live very rural, and so we have horses, chickens, guineas, dogs, a couple barn cats, and so we have and 1 rabbit, and so we have just that I guess picturesque mini farm, I guess is the best way to say it. I planted my first garden this year, full garden, so that's been kind of fun, and I didn't realize everything grows at one time, so I'm eating a lot of vegetables these days. But other than that, that's where I'm at, and I've been with TTEC for 16 years. They've been 16 great years, and I've been very fortunate to be with the leadership and employee development team all that time, and just really look forward to, I think, what we continue to evolve and grow as a company and as a team.
Well, first of all, where you live sounds very picturesque. I can't wait to see some of the photos from your garden. Not to sound too cheesy here, but not only do you like grow your garden, but you really grow and foster people too. So
Absolutely.
I think it's so great that like whether you're digging in the dirt or creating courses and development for people, it kind of personifies you, which is fantastic. So one of the other things too that you've made me feel connected since day one, and you're very consistent in your approach with employees and with team members. So could you share a little bit more about like why is it important to you personally to foster a great employee experience?
And it is very important. And actually begins with day one. We have every one of us have been new employees, day one, day two. And that first week is usually just a blur, getting all the paperwork out of the way. You're meeting people. You may or may not remember the names of everyone that you've met. There's new acronyms. Here at TTEC, we are the masters at acronyms, and you're not used to what things mean and what direction to go, who to contact for what. We've all been that new person, and I can truly feel what new people go through and the confusion they may feel, or the frustration or the uncertainty. Do I ask that question again? I've already asked it 3 times. And it's really up to us as leaders, as colleagues, as employees here at TTEC to own and help own the experience of our new employees. Our existing, for sure, that's my everyday job. But for our new employees coming in, how can we make their experience rewarding? How can we make them feel that they are in the right place? They've made the right decision. And when they go back home and they're talking to, or maybe they're already at home, but they turn around and they're talking to their partner, their friends, their family, what I want them to be able to say is, I've made the right decision. This is a great place. And everyone is so friendly and welcoming, and no one's afraid to, or disappointed or discouraged with telling me the same answer 2 or 3 times because I've asked that question more than once. Everyone points me in the right direction. I feel included. And that's the biggest part, is that they do feel included, they do feel embraced, and they feel part of the TTEC family immediately from the start.
Yeah, definitely a good reminder that we've all been new, drinking from that fire hose
Absolutely.
of new information and new
Absolutely.
acronyms and wondering where the bathroom is. Even if it's in our own home, it could be that confusing
Mhm,
that first week. So
for sure.
just want to give a little over into the comments. Michelle is joining us from Cape Town. Thank you for being here today, Michelle. Uh, Juliana is joining us from Mexico, and it's great to have you here. Hola. Ashley, yay, Nat, joining from Colorado.
Awesome.
And we also have, I think it's Mina from Poland. Sorry, it scrolled up on my screen, as well as someone joining us from Bogota, Colombia. So
Fantastic.
we've got a nice global group giving a shout out to everyone here today. So thank you for that. And I think that leads really nicely into the next question, actually. Thank you, everyone, for giving us that transition
Yeah.
into the importance of inclusivity and diversity. And one of the things that I didn't mention at the top was that you are the co-vice chair of our diversity council
I
for
am.
our global organization. And so as we're talking about nurturing that employee experience, how do you layer in what is the meaning and the value to you of creating that inclusive, diverse workplace?
Well, as much as we'd love to think that inclusivity is grown organically, we really do have to drive it. We have to work at it. We have to make those efforts to really bring people in and make people feel included, right? But we are all included. It takes all of us. And we really can't be blinded, especially at work, with people that we work with every day. And if you think about how much time we spend every day with the people that we work with, sometimes it can surpass the amount of time that we spend with our families at night, right? Or, off shift, or outside of our normal hours. And so I think, if we're going to really be an inclusive organization, we have to be open and welcoming and understanding, and really set aside any prejudices or biases we may have held, and realize we're all here for the same purpose. We're all here to do our jobs, to be successful at our jobs, and we have to do it together. And so we really have to work at making that happen. As much as I'd love to say it'll just happen, we have to work at it.
Yeah, it's like tending to the farm or the
Very
garden. It
much.
is very much
Very much.
nurturing that, and that it does take each of us, and whether it's through the celebrations that we have around the globe or joining our employee resource groups like Women in Leadership, like TTEC Minds, Champions of Color, many of the others that we have here, it's all of us taking that active role in being a part of that. And I think that's something that I've learned a lot from you through our conversations, is that piece of ownership, and how all of us are either part of building our own like fulfillment or helping to support others in that. So what are some of the ways that you think we can roll up our sleeves and really take ownership over how we create our own optimal states or help others to create their optimal state?
Absolutely. And that's a really great question, because I think it begins with ourselves, right? We really need to do a lot of self-reflection, make sure we're good with who we are, the job we're doing, the persona that we have, the impact that we're making on our team members, friends, colleagues, and looking around us as to what value am I bringing? What effort do I need to make sure that the people around me feel included, that they feel supported, as a leader, both as a leader and a friend and as a colleague, right? Because we're all of those things, regardless of our position. We're all of them. And I think when it comes to rolling up our sleeves, you had mentioned at the top of the conversation about emotional intelligence, and emotional intelligence is extremely important just as a person, to be able to understand and put yourself in someone else's shoes, to understand why they may think the way they are thinking, and being able to empathize with how they're thinking and why their tendencies, their behaviors, their performance may lean one way or another. And that all comes with really being able to understand that individual. But before you can do that, you have to understand yourself. You have to know yourself. And so, as I said, there is a lot of self-reflection. If we look at ourselves, what am I missing? Is there a skill? Is there a competency? Is there a behavior? Is there anything that I'm missing that could help myself, help someone else? But it has to start with ourselves first. Keep ourselves in check, make sure we have everything we need to be successful, and then it will just bleed out. We'll help those around us, absolutely, by doing that.
Yeah, and that could be hard work, right? It's hard to
It is absolutely keeping it in
focus.
mind. It's keeping it in mind, recognizing those around you for the efforts they made, what may not seem, and really being observant. And we have to hone our skills as individuals to notice the details, because it's easy to get caught up in what we do every day and not see the little things that got us there, right? We see big picture. We're always looking at the end result. How are we going to get there? And are we there? And some people like to go with the end result and work backwards. Some people just want to do the tasks that get us to where we need to go. But it's really up to us as individuals to acknowledge, recognize every effort that's made by the people that we work with, and recognizing that. If I realize that someone went ahead and scheduled out several meetings without me asking, without anyone really saying anything, I'm going to notice that. I'm going to acknowledge it, that they took the proactive thought to really plan everything out and get us set up for success. And it's just the little details that make up the big picture.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing the rest of that, and how we can all either be like foster more recognition or that self-reflection as well. I do want to turn it over to the audience for a minute here to get some of their reactions as well. We would love to know, how do you create meaningful connections, either in the workplace or in your life, and tag someone who maybe is that meaningful connection, and let them know that you're, back to what Natalie was just sharing, let them know that you're thinking thinking about them and you appreciate what they do. Want to just give a shout out to Samira. Thank you for joining us today. She has some questions that I'm sure our team members who are monitoring the LinkedIn chat will get back to you about joining us today. We have another person joining us from Brazil. Thank you so much. And we have Vanessa Rojas joining us from Mexico City. So thank you all again for being here today. I can't believe that our time, Nat, is almost up here. It goes so fast, and yet I know we could have part 2, 3, 4, and 5 with you and really dig into a lot of this. Just we could even have conversations about your book club that you work with, or key things that you've learned through Toastmasters. So I know we could have continued conversations, but the one thing is that, taking ownership, self-reflection, encouraging others, helping people to be part of their optimal state. It could sound like a lot, and it can sound like, hey, we got to roll up our sleeves, take ownership. I kind of already feel like I'm doing that. I'm getting anxious thinking about it. People may be thinking right now, like, how do I do more when I already feel like I'm doing more?
Absolutely. We can never stop learning, number one.
Oh, okay,
never
good.
stop learning. And let's be real. Leadership and employee development, it's my bread and butter. It's what I do, right? It's what I love to see happen. And the biggest, outside of the people that I work with every day, my biggest motivator here at TTEC is knowing that the learning resources that we provide TTEC and all of their employees is helping to grow them, is helping to develop them, is helping to prepare them for their next role. And knowing that the team and I had even the smallest part in that growth and development, and seeing them to their next position or blooming to where they're planted in their current position, and just being able to provide those learning options and resources is really makes it all worthwhile for me. Every bit of it. I love to see people succeed. If everyone else in the company succeeds, we succeed, right? So I really love to promote additional growth, and you can do it based on your position. TTEC Talent has so much learning, over 7,500 courses of learning that under every topic you can imagine. And if you can't find it, reach out. We're glad to point you in the right direction, make recommendations. I know my timeline is full of courses that I've been going through, sampling. Is this good? Is this not good? But really helping you hone those skills that you think you need additional development in. And I know it's mid-year, it's performance review time. We're all being evaluated on our performance for the first half of the year. And this is the best time to really set yourself up for the second part of the year on what can you continue to develop on. Work with your manager, find out what skills are still needed to help you be more successful in your role, for sure.
Thank you for that. And I think one of the things is you've really discovered your why. Why do you do what you do? And
Absolutely.
so as part of our self-reflection, what is our own why? Because like you're saying, you're finding the joy and the fulfillment in the work that you do by helping other people, which is great. And I do want to give a shout out to your team. I work with a lot of them, and they are all as dedicated and committed to our growth around the world as you are, Natalie, which is fantastic. So shout out to your team.
Yeah, I surround myself with everyone who's smarter than myself, so I have a very smart team, for sure.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time today, for sharing with us a little bit about your journey, about how we can all be a part of not only making this a better TTEC world, but a better world as well, which is something we talk a lot about on this show, is just taking that extra time to recognize people, be kind, elevate your own career through learning and development. So we really appreciate you stopping by for take 2 of the talent show.
Absolutely. And if I can just give a quick shout out, August 7th, Women in Leadership is hosting Rethinking Imposter Syndrome, which is going to be a very, very exciting session. I think we've all have experienced imposter syndrome at one point or another, and we have an external speaker coming in, very excited about it. So stay tuned and look for that invite.
Yes. I think it's marked on my calendar, so I will be there. So thank you for sharing that. So if you're a part of TTEC, you can always head to the Women in Leadership Mosaic space and learn more about joining Women in Leadership as well, and about all of our diversity initiatives across the board. So thank you so much, Natalie. I hope you have a really fantastic day. Send us photos of your garden.
I will. I will. All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
See
Thanks,
you
Rebecca.
soon. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. So we really appreciate Nat sharing more about how people can grow here and foster their careers at TTEC. So that starts with maybe you want to become a part of the TTEC team. We have many jobs available on TTEC Jobs, depending where you are in the world, but we wanted to highlight a few for you today. This first job is our role in Mexico City, Mexico. It is working with a great place to work in Mexico, as well as a Compu Trabajo top place to work as well. We have some amazing incentives to join the team and become a part of a really great organization with our Mexico City team. Christian was on a few months ago, so had a chance to talk with their leader, and it's joining a really great team there. We also have, if you're over here in Concord, North Carolina, we also have a role for you working with a new client of ours, where you'll be able to provide white glove support to a company that is really iconic in the financial services space and has an entrepreneurial spirit alongside it. So if you are interested and you are in Concord, please head over and check out that position. Of course, we have many other customer service roles that we're hiring for around the globe. I've got to give a shout out to our own team. We are hiring for a senior supervisor for our talent attraction team in the Philippines. It will be an on-site role as well, working in Cebu. So you'll have the opportunity to help us find all those great customer service people in the Philippines through our talent attraction and marketing teams. So we'd love to see you join us. So thank you so much for joining us here today, everyone. We know your time is valuable, so we appreciate everything, every time that you come. We appreciate Nat Gooch joining us today and for all her efforts alongside amazing team members in learning and development, our Women in Leadership group, and our Diversity Council as well. So many people who take that commitment seriously to helping everybody get into their optimal state. I hope you're walking away with some great content that you can use to empower your own career as well. And once again, thank you all for joining us. We will see you back in a couple of weeks. Tag somebody if you think that this show will be helpful for them in their career. Have a great day, everyone. See you soon.